Now, this video is going to show you how to create your construction drawing for the shed. Okay. Our deliverables, you need to use a B-size construction drawing, okay, and that's going to be an 11 by 17. You need to include a rendering, dimension floor plan, 2 elevated views, and a typical wall section. So this one, we want to make sure that we're doing the one with the siding, since that was the one that we were focusing on. Alright, so in Revit, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working down where it says Sheets in the project browser. So what I can do is right click on Sheets, and we are going to create a new sheet that's located right here. Okay. In New Sheet, you're probably not going to have this set up already. I already have it set up from before. So what you're probably going to have to do is load in the B11 by 17. So you're going to click on Load. Okay, you are going to go into My Computer, and you are going to go into your share drive in the Architecture folder. So we're going to go to the share drive, Architecture, we're going to keep clicking through Revit, English Imperial, and then you will have title blocks. So it's going to be the second one from the top. In there are all the different types of sheets that you can use, and we are going to be using that B11 by 17. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to open that up. That's going to put that in here for you. Okay, so you can highlight that, and then you are going to click OK. Once that is in, and I already have mine named, you're probably going to have to rename this. So anything that's not filled out already, you can make sure that you're changing up. So I can just double click here, put your name, utility shed. I like putting utility shed over here too. Okay, and then click off, and that's going to save that. Okay, so then it's going to allow you to edit anything that you want to edit. You can put the date, drawn by, you can, the author is you, so you can do these type of things as well. Okay, so drawn by your name, date, you can put the date in here, and all those things. Okay. Now, once you have that all set up, we need to start putting our different views in. So we're going to start with the floor plan. I'm going to put it up here. Really, it's going to be about you organizing it so it looks nice. Okay. So, flipping that around by accident. Okay. So I'm going to go up to the floor plan. So this is what I'm going to need to put in here. Now yours is probably going to have your arrows way out here like this. So I'm going to put mine out there just so you can see what that's going to look like. And so your floor plan is going to be like this. You're going to probably be having a 1/8. I'm guessing it defaults to 1/8. Okay. So what this looks like is in your sheets. So this is your utility shed right here because I renamed it. You're going to be opening up your sheets, and you're going to drag floor into the sheet. Okay. Now when you do that, and I place it, you're going to notice that the view, because the arrows are so far out there, is taking up more than the sheet itself. And so that's a problem. So we need to definitely fix that first of all. To do that, we have to go back into the floor plan and play around with the scale. So in the floor plan, the first thing I'm going to do is move these in. They don't need to be that far out, so kind of where they were before. Down here and drag this up. So a lot of the editing that you're going to have to do for the actual sheet is done in the actual part of the project browser that you're working with. So if you're trying to fix the floor plan, you got to go into the floor plan. Okay. The other thing was 1/8, so I think I had a 1/16 was pretty good. 1/16 for 1 inch. And so now when I go back to the utility shed sheet, you can see it's changed all that. Now what you really want to make sure is when you click on it, you see these little handles. We want to make sure that we're making this so it makes sense, so it's not like enormous. So you got to zoom in really close and drag those handles. And then that way when you put it into your sheet here, it's not, this thing isn't like taking up the whole sheet either. Okay, so to get those handles, you got to click on this part. Something to keep in mind. So I'm going to drag this in here. That's about what I need it to look like. You might want it a little bit bigger with the dimensioning. So that piece is in there already. Okay. The other thing is we need the elevation views, so you're going to do the same thing here. So like, let's say my east, I'm going to drag that in. I already adjusted this to 1/16, so it looks nice and neat. Okay, if I do the 1/16, I could probably put them on top of each other. The key here is we're not overlapping the borders, we're not overlapping other stuff, so it's really going to be up to you to play around with those sizings, right? I think the default, like if I drag north in here, this is the default at 1/8, and you can see quite a big size difference. Okay, so playing around, I'd have to go back into north just like I did with the other one. I change it to 1/16, and this is working for me. If it doesn't work for you, you got to resize yours. I'm going to drag these in. I don't need those all the way out. Okay. Now when I go back into my sheet, it should have fixed some of those issues. Now you can see my north here and my east. And notice this is kind of crazy, so we're dragging that dot. I'm going to zoom in and make sure I'm grabbing the dot. And I can do that and fix those up. Okay, so making that look nice and neat. Now when you're doing your elevations, you need one with the door, one with the siding. Okay, so I should see the brick wall with the door. I should see the siding in the other view. Okay. The other thing you need is your section view. So just like before, it seems like the 1/16 has been pretty good. Let's just play around with that. Alright, we'll just see what that looks like if I drag that into my sheet. So section 1 view, 1/16. That is definitely too small. It's going to be really hard to see all the layers. So we're going to make this one a lot bigger. So going into, sorry, that's my rendering, my section view. We're going to actually go bigger on this one. So let's try 1/4 and let's just see what that looks like. Again, it's got to work for you and your drawing. Okay. So my section view, I could probably go bigger than 1/4. Drag that over here, and drag this one over as well. See how I can't really grab that, I gotta make sure I do that. So we're gonna go even bigger than that. So you're gonna just kind of keep playing around with that and see what really works. Maybe 1/2 would work. Once you get that where you want it, you need to add the rendering view in, and that's not going to work. So you get the idea, though. I got to fix that, but I want to move on so you're not just watching me play around with that. The rendering view. Okay, to get the rendering view, you're going to have to render. Okay, so I'm going to go to my 3D view. In my 3D view, and I can go to the View tab. There is the render button. Okay, I have already rendered mine because it does take a lot of computer power. All right. I would not go any more than high. That's already going to take quite a bit of time for these computers to do. But you don't want to do draft because that doesn't look very good either. So maybe high. You can also play around with some of this other stuff, but like the sun, what kind of resolution you want, those type of things. Okay, the background, etc. Once you are done rendering, you need to make sure that you are clicking on where it says Save to Project, and then that will save it down here in your project browser. Once that is all done and you've saved it to the project, you can close out, and then it's going to show you the rendering over here. And so just like you did with the other ones, you're going to be dragging that render into the sheet as well. Okay, and you're going to find a good spot for your render within the page. You can see how busy this is getting. Okay, so really trying to find a way to make that all fit in there, that's going to be the key. Okay. Other than that, the other thing you need to keep in mind is that you are going to make sure that you are adding in dimensions. I'm going to talk about that in a different video, but you're going to have to do the dimensions on there and then making sure everything fits. So in the next video I'm going to show dimensions, but this will get you started at least on creating your drawing.